everyone. This is TrulyDisturbing.com, and we're reporting to you for the first time. We're going on YouTube, and we're bringing you some news from the website. My name is Santiago. I'm the editor-in-chief of the website, and to my right is...
Hi, I'm the media manager. My name is Johnathan Rosas.
We're going to talk to you about just everything that's been going on in the horror community lately, so hang out.
Today's episode is going to be sponsored by 3 Iron Brewery, Eagle IPA. It's really good. George Romero's Night of the Living Dead Part 2 is coming out. Wow. And then there's also some interesting things following with that, isn't there?
Yeah, it was officially done by him and a screenwriter and producer for the original Night of the Living Dead, which came out in 1968. They had a lot of licensing issues with that. It went down to the fact that there were no copyrights on the original film. So it was used as public domain. It could be used by anybody. Night of the Living Dead. That's why there was Return of the Living Dead. That's why there was Revenge of the Living Dead. So many different titles.
Dawn of the Dead. Yeah.
Well, he did Dawn of the Dead, but
yeah.
there were remakes of different things that were like that. And so this is going to be the official sequel to Night of the Living Dead. His sons are active on Facebook and have been advocating that this is going to be what people want a George Romero film to be. He left a long legacy. We all miss him. He was a great guy. I met him a few times at conventions, and talking to him over the years was a great experience for me. He was always very humble, and there was many different things that George Romero worked on before he passed away that are going to be coming to light.
That is very interesting. That's very, very interesting. Now, is there any subject on what the Part 2 is going to...
There's no official title yet besides Night of the Living Dead Part 2. George Romero was notorious for, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. There was always a theme or a change of the first word. Not sure what's going to be going on right now for this new title, but I'm very excited for it.
Oh, that's great. Also in related news is that Halloween on Blu-ray is coming out on December 28th.
Now remember, this is the 40 years later. This is the new Halloween that Blumhouse, Universal, John Carpenter, and Jamie Lee Curtis all came back and agreed upon to make.
Right, it is a continuation, not like a remake, right?
No, it's not a remake. It's a continuation of the first film. It takes the timeline that they originally had and stops it at part 1. There's part 2 where Laurie's in the hospital getting followed by Michael. Then there's part 3 that has nothing to do with Michael at all. Right. And then there's 4 with Danielle Harris playing the daughter of Laurie Strode, whose name is Jamie. And we follow her in 4 and 5, and also part 6. And it keeps on going. But this Halloween that just came out takes all that out of the equation. It moves it from part 1, from 1978, 40 years later, to Halloween 2018, and Michael's back after 40 years.
That's crazy. I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I know.
I'm ashamed. I don't know.
But yes, I cannot wait. I will be buying it on the 28th. My thing is that why not on the 24th? Why not on the 20th? Let's get this Blu-ray out for that Christmas shopping, right? I mean, why post-Christmas?
Yeah, you got a point. But what's good about this Blu-ray is that there's going to be deleted scenes.
Oh, nice.
Making of documentaries.
Oh, man.
And even a different audio commentary track with John Carpenter, supposedly.
Oh, John Carpenter is the man.
For sure. So part of this vlog we're going to do is go into true crime, and what we title this is Truly Disturbing Headlines. One thing that has been on the news lately, and something that's almost the 40th, I believe, anniversary, is the anniversary of the Jonestown Massacre that happened 1970s with Jim Jones and the People's Temple in Guyana. There was over 918 deaths. 304 of those deaths were minors, and 70 of those deaths were forced murder. Basically, what Jim Jones did was create a cult and collective that had the mask of being a religion. He tricked people into going into finding a new way of life, a new position to look at things and sadly it turned very, very wrong, as most cults do. There was an issue with a senator, and there was just so many different terrible acts that took place there at Jonestown that is considered one of the biggest mass murders slash mass suicides of the last 40 years.
Now, this was supposed to be a utopia setting, wasn't it?
Yes, that was very true. Many people were considered that Jim Jones was the next prophet for God, and that he would bring peace, and his people's temple were going to change the way that humanity viewed life and how that they can be enriched from that.
So the thing that's most messed up about Jim Jones is that he promised them a way of life and to change the world for the better, and he ended up taking their own lives.
Right, correct. It turned into the most devout followers went to Guyana and migrated there and created a settlement, which turned into what is known as Jonestown. There was no access for families. There was no access to the outside world, basically. They had no communications. The only person that had a radio or a phone or anything like that was Jim Jones, and he was against anyone trying to reach out or leave the community after they established the settlement.
Now, I heard the senator went out there to visit to make sure everything was okay. And as he was leaving, I guess someone overheard him say on a phone call, "Yeah, this is messed up. We need to get these people out of here." And once they heard that, they murdered the senator and his crew.
There was 3 locations where the things that happened at Jonestown took place. It was Jonestown centered. Next was the airstrip where the senator was shot getting onto his plane with other people that came by and that came with him from America to check on their family members. And then Georgetown, Guyana, 3 people at the actual embassy were killed that were Jonestown members as well.
Wow, that's crazy. Also, on top of that, we also have recently the 1-year anniversary of the death of Charles Manson.
Yeah,
that's right. Charles Manson.
Charles Manson just recently passed away in prison. Now, we're not advocating that he was a good guy or anything like that, but it is known fact that he did not kill anyone himself. He used intimidation, interrogation, and also threats to have his family, as it were, the Manson family, commit murders against the LaBiancas and Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate was actually the wife of director Roman Polanski. While Roman Polanski was doing a movie in, I believe, Romania or New York. He was far away from LA, and he was gone filming Rosemary's Baby, which ended up being a critical hit. And sadly, his wife Sharon was one of the victims of the Manson family murders.
Now, what set off these murders was Manson had proclaimed that once they killed Sharon Tate and her party guest, I think there was, right? Their party guest, that was going to set off a series of race wars in the United States. And then after the wars would clear, Manson was supposed to be like the new messiah of the world, or United States, as it were.
Manson maintained that he was not a bad person, that humanity created the things that pushed the people or the kids in the 60s from love and everything, peace and free love and free sex and all this other stuff that was technically good, to a darker edge. And Manson was like, this is going to happen. His big thing that he made with the murders was that he wanted it to be, like you mentioned, a racial issue, where blacks against whites, so that it's a common thread that African American blacks would cause murders, rapes, tortures, and just turn the world upside down.
So basically, it was just going to blame it on black people, essentially, and kick off a race war.
And he got that idea from being stoned out of his mind, listening to the Beatles, which he enjoyed, and that song Helter Skelter took things to a different degree, where he thought that the lyrics in there represented a race war that he would interpret, and that, like you mentioned, the family or his group of followers would move from LA and San Francisco area to the desert and live their lives out there, wait for the race war to happen, and after it was done, they'd come back and take over.
Right, correct.
Now, I want to reiterate that Manson officially has never murdered anyone. He was a petty thief. His mother was a whore. His father was a pimp. He never really met his father except for maybe 1 or 2 times. And his mother sold him off to his aunt at a very, very young age. So Manson had a very terrible upbringing, as most serial killers slash people who do heinous crimes have.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're not advocating that or anything like that, but it did just happen. His passing for 1 year anniversary did just happen, and he did affect the 60s. Many people say that with the Manson murders and the Tate LaBianca murders that happened, it basically brought an end to the hippie movement. Now another segment that we're going to start doing in this vlogcast for Last Call Horror is unboxing. And today we're working on the Critters collection from our friends at Scream Factory. They sent it over for us to check out, and we're going to pop this baby open, and it has all 4 of the Critters movies. Now, have you ever seen all those movies?
I vaguely remember, but yes, I think I've seen, if not all of them, like 1 or 2.
Okay. Number 1 is basically the same thing, where it goes that it's space aliens coming down to invade Earth. What the behind the scenes is that WB, Warner Brothers, wanted a competitor for Universal's Gremlins. So Critters came out and was basically the bastard stepchild of Gremlins, because Gremlins was a huge hit. Steven Spielberg, he directed it, and it became phenomenon. And actually part 3 is coming out pretty soon. So we're going to check this out, and we're going to unbox it right now and check these out. Part 1 is classic, just for the fact that it has a lot of awesome deaths and kills in it. Part 2 is a continuation from the first one, obviously, and it tells a story about what happens later on. Part 3, though, is really interesting because of the fact that it has Leonardo DiCaprio in it when he was a kid. So there's the box, and as you can see, we've got Critters, the first one, on Blu-ray. This is the first time that Critters, the collection, has ever come out on Blu-ray. So Critters number 1, Critters number 2, we have Critters number 3, like I mentioned, with Leonardo DiCaprio, and Critters number 4.
Wait, hold on, Sam. Let me ask you a question. Critters number 3, is this the one where the extraterrestrial aliens come down to exterminate these critters? Like they're these beings that can turn into a different...
That's the first one. They're bounty hunters.
Oh, really? Okay,
remember,
so I'm like 2 of them off.
Yeah, the first one, in the first Critters film, the bounty hunters come down and they can shapeshift and they can change form to blend in with the planet that they're on. And remember, the critters are known as Krites, and they're actually on a prison ship on the way towards a prison world. They escape, take an escape pod, come down to Earth, and that's how the whole thing happens. And we want to say major thanks again to Scream Factory, who is a subsidiary of Shout Factory, for letting this being sent to us, and we're going to be reviewing the films later on the website, so check that out as well. Okay, Critters box set, you can get it online through the Shout Factory and Scream Factory's website. It's not even out yet, but we have it first.
We got it first.
So we highly recommend it. Good watching, good continuation of 80s films, and awesome, great schlock, just funny as all.
Can I ask you something? Was there, now this is just my memory from my childhood. Now those other beings, those bounty hunters that were going to come and collect them, wasn't there like a scene where like they were mimicking like people from movies?
Yes.
Okay, wasn't one of them Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, they did. So now we're going to go to a segment about Netflix recommendations. The first main thing that we both agree on is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is on Netflix now for the part 1 section of the show. Did you know that The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was actually a comic book that was brought to life after the fact that Riverdale, the show that was on the CW, was going to use it for season 3? Netflix came in and said, we want this show as it's by itself, took the rights, and created Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes, I do now. Okay, so I knew it was a spin-off of Riverdale.
Correct.
Okay, I had no idea they were going to bring it in as a season 3 of Riverdale.
Yeah, it was going to be season 3. It was going to intertwine with Riverdale and all that was going on. You know, Archie and Jughead and all that stuff.
Right.
Which is crazy to me. Like, Archie fucks. Like, Archie gets down, which is sort of weird. But anyway,
they're not so wholesome anymore, are they?
Right. There's a lot of little idiosyncrasies.
I think they have like a gay and lesbian scene in this whole.
God forbid.
I know, right?
Oh. But there's so many different things in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina that have caused some controversy. Number one, they use many images and many talking points about Satan, obviously.
Right.
Which is Satan. It goes hand to hand.
Mm-hmm.
The Church of Satan, which was started by Anton LaVey in the 70s / late 60s, sued them for defamation of character, basically, for over $50 million because they used a Baphomet statue that the Church of Satan endorses.
Right.
And they were saying that they don't believe in, the Church of Satan was saying this, that they don't believe in an actual spiritual Satan. It's more of the movement of doing what you want and
humanism.
Basically indulging in what you want.
Yes.
They didn't get the okay from the Church of Satan, so Church of Satan sued them.
Right.
I didn't think Satan was going to be that big of a deal. I mean, so what if he uses it?
Getting his name out there, right?
I figured it would be promotion, but
I believe they also did that with American Horror Story Apocalypse.
That's right. The Church of Satan came out about that.
Actually used Anton LaVey as
that was a big old deal, and that lawsuit hasn't been settled. But the lawsuit with Chilling Adventures of Sabrina has been fixed, and they settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money.
Yes.
But there's so many different things about this show that are just dark and just Satan this and praise Satan that, and there's so many different things. Like even other horror movie directors have stepped in to help, like Clive Barker. Clive Barker, who directed Hellraiser, he directed Nightbreed and wrote Nightbreed, and even the Midnight Meat Train. He provided over 150 different paintings for the show, which was amazing to me. There's also little different aspects of the show, like they reference John Carpenter's The Fog. They reference Rosemary's Baby. We have a couple of other recommendations besides The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. We think that's a really good show that we both agree on, but we also have movies that you can check out that are on Netflix right now that can keep the ball rolling for the horror community that we have. My number 3 picks are very simple. Tales of Halloween. It's an anthology series all based around Halloween. Everybody loved Trick or Treat when it came out years ago. So Tales of Halloween sort of jumps on that bandwagon and moves forward with that. Many different stories, but they all intertwine in one way.
Okay.
Next one would be Train to Busan. It's a Korean film that is intense. These people are on this train just trying to get to the visit their mother or family members in a city-state known as Busan in Korea. And their train gets attacked by zombies, and zombies are on their train trip, and it's all of them just trying to get to their destination, which is intense, and you have to watch it. The third one and final one that I have to say would be Tank 432. Tank 432 is about these war criminals / war heroes that are all fighting on different sides, and they have to go inside of a tank to get away from a zombie apocalypse that's happening during a war.
Yeah, wow.
I highly recommend it. It's a little bit of a slow burn, so you have to get used to it a little bit, but ultimately, all 3 movies are great to watch, good popcorn flicks, and they really bring out the last 2, especially Train to Busan and the Tank 432, really bring out the zombie genre in a different way that we didn't see before. What were your takes, John?
Well, my recommendations is Malevolent As Above, So Below, and The Witch. Or The Witch, if you want to. It's a double V, witch, Old English.
The Vivitch.
The Vivitch.
The Vivitch.
Malevolent takes place in the 1970s in England as a brother and sister team up as a paranormal investigation crew. Well, what you don't know is that it's kind of fake. You know, they're really just faking it to help people get over their griefs, cope with their griefs and everything about their family members dying or something like that. Well, they get one that they couldn't really fake out of it. You know what I'm saying?
So it became real.
It became real for them. What they thought was fake, the paranormal, it became very, very real.
Is it a slower film or does it move really quick?
At first it's kind of slow, and then it starts like a beat of a drum. It just starts moving. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The ending is really great. I recommend Malevolent as a great popcorn flick. As Above, So Below, though, is a great film based in Paris, France, in the catacombs. As one who's actually visited the catacombs, I've seen a lot of the bones, the skulls and bones that are in these catacombs. So it was actually pretty trippy to see this movie. It's about a team of friends that they kind of like, how would you describe it? They would
go spelunking.
Spelunking, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say
well,
that.
they wind up in hell. Let's just put it that way.
That's what happens when you go spelunking.
Right. The way how they had to go through it and get out of it, it's such a great film. I highly recommend that one. The Witch, based in 1630s New England, almost like a Salem type of...
around that time frame.
Around that time frame and everything. It talks about how one of the young children is kidnapped or stolen, and the family's trying to look for him for days, and it ends up being the family gets picked off. Something's very malevolent in this story as well. So yeah, those are my three.
Now I have to say this: I didn't enjoy The Witch.
Really?
I thought it was very boring. I thought it was very mundane. I thought I didn't see anything that was scary to my point. The only thing that was cool was the goat in the movie.
Right.
But if you enjoy sort of satanic / witchcrafty films in that vein, The Witch is something that you have to watch. Like if you watch The Crucible, then you watch The Witch, it works.
It does. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
If you watch The Witch by itself, it's sort of...
No, I'll give you that. I just like the whole ending aspect, you know, with the goat.
Oh, the naked girls in the forest floating up.
No, thank you. No, that's not what I was getting at.
Okay.
You know, with the goat, I said the goat.
Oh, okay,
with the goat, yeah.
I understand the whole thing. You know, I know you like animals, but anyway. Well, at that, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you so much for checking out Last Call Horror. I'm Sam. This is John for TrulyDisturbing.com. Have a good night.